Hello everybody. I am here with you today to talk a little bit about Hakko and how they are anti-repair. They do not support right to repair of their own products. Yeah, it's kind of ironic that they're a soldering iron company that provide tools to technicians to be able to repair things, but they don't support the right to repair of their own products. So I've been calling them out on this for a while. I have made a complaint to the Better Business Bureau, Los Angeles area. I have made a complaint to Los Angeles County and to the California Attorney General. My complaint is the same for all of them, so I'm just going to pull up the complaint here and we're going to read it real quick. Here was my complaint. To American Hakko Products Inc. in Valencia, California. Guarantee or warranty issues. This is Hakko, a California corporation, sells its electronic products to consumers both within and outside of California through the normal stream of commerce. As a third-party repair shop servicing clients in California, I have requested repair documents, parts, and tools as defined under the Song-Beverly Consumer Warranty Act, 704 SB 244 section, and you guys got that. However, I, along with others, have been denied access to these essential materials. I believe Hakko's actions are in direct violation of SB 244, and the information they provided was done so maliciously. If you go to my video of their repair manual, you will see how malicious it was. Rehashing the user manual with assembly and disassembly instructions and calling it a repair manual. They did not provide any actual repair documentation, schematic, etc. You can see in the supporting documentation on page 4 an email between Chris Stuber and their counsel, Dennis Oyakawa. I assume they CC'd that to me by accident. Lewis covered that one. Lewis Rossman. I'll link that in the description too. Indicating that Hakko had no intention to comply with SB 244. We'll get to some audio here in a minute of Chris Stuber. The intent of SB 244 is to provide a fair marketplace for the repair of electronic and appliance products and to prohibit intentional barriers and limitations to third-party repair. There is no denying that Hakko is engaged in the business of selling consumer electronic products and is not exempt from the provisions of SB 244. What would my desired outcome be? Schematics, parts, tools. Tools is defined as firmware, and basically compliance with SB 244. So let's listen to the audio of Chris Stuber here.
To get some input from you because...
Okay, this audio was taken September 2023 when Right to Repair passed and was waiting on the governor's signature. And I called Hakko to see what the update was, if they were going to comply with Right to Repair, because they basically said not until the law makes us. So, law kind of made you. So here it is.
To get some input from you because a question came up here for me, and I'm thinking the best way to find out objectively how the language is looked at would be to talk to you, since you deal with this quite a lot.
Yes, I do call CEOs and everybody, and I did talk to legislators here in the state of Washington, Oregon, and California when they were drafting these laws. To give my input, I testified in Washington State in front of the Senate twice.
So, first of all, on the progress side, when we spoke to our counsel about it, and they were reading the language of everything, they were definitely saying that, yeah, he doesn't see any kind of exemption or anything like that. Obviously, it doesn't say specific.
Okay, so no exemptions, and then you'll hear him say that it don't specifically say soldering irons, but in their reply, I'll link the PDFs that they replied to the Better Business Bureau. Their reply, they basically leave out where it says includes but not limited to. And they say basically it don't specifically say soldering equipment.
Specifically soldering equipment, you would think that it's more of an industrial tool versus consumer. You know, they're trying to look.
Okay, and additionally, they're claiming the industrial. Well, the section they're saying is industrial, it lists, farm equipment, implements, earth movement equipment. That's like saying your refrigerator's farm equipment because it stores eggs.
Look at any kind of angle that would say that we don't have to deal with this stuff, but ultimately there really isn't an angle, especially also in the California language that's up there for the Senate bill.
Yeah.
It's very, very, right?
Okay, so they admit right there they're going to have to comply. So they are aware of that they're going to have to comply. They're reasonably aware, and that is in the penalty of SB 244. They have to be reasonably aware. This is it right here. So I did get a response from the California Attorney General's office. And here's that response. This is from Rob Bonta, Attorney General, State of California Department of Justice, to me, November 19th, 2024. Re-American Hakko Products, Inc. Says, Dear Stephen Ryan, thank you for bringing your consumer complaint to the attention of our Office of the Attorney General. Often it is only through letters from concerned and responsible citizens like you that our office becomes aware of consumer problems. You should be aware that California state law does not allow us to represent private individuals in private civil matters. 100% understandable, but the only really remedy we have is to go through either the Attorney General, some county Bureau of Investigations to get a local prosecutor involved, which I've made a complaint to the LA Bureau of Investigations, and the Attorney General's office. But it says, however, in cases of statewide significance, which this is a statewide significance because Hakko is based in California and it is a new law. So we can bring legal action against the company when substantive evidence is presented to us supporting allegations that the firm has violated California law. Well, I've provided plenty of documentation. So we have forwarded a copy of your letter along with the inquiry from our office to the company you are concerned about. Hopefully, this will elicit them a response which we will all find satisfactory. Thank you again for contacting our office and giving us the opportunity to assist you in this matter. Well, haven't heard back from Hakko or the Attorney General yet. It takes them, wheels of justice are really, really slow. I think if they reply like they did to the Better Business Bureau, they're going to have an issue. So let's get on with what we have over here. Cottie's been patiently waiting. She wants her cookies, so let's give Cottie some cookies. Let's give Cottie some cookies. So I hope Hakko gets fined heavily. So this is the front plate to the FM203. I want to run the FM 2030 iron, but I can't because the firmware's old on this. It requires a firmware update. Firmware's held in that chip right there. Okay, so this is the programming header. I have made 2 cables, one for the Surger Flasher Pro, one for the Zeltec ISO1. Yes, Gotti. So I got a package here also, but we're gonna use the ISO1 here. Let's plug this in here. We're gonna attempt to read that. Let's go. ISO1. Make sure we're in there. It's booting. Okay, we are in remote mode. Let's light the software up. ISO1. Let's hit let's turn this on. There it is. Let's hit read. And we get an ID code error. So, without having the ID code, this is useless. We can't read it. So, that is an issue. And how we're going to solve that issue is with this package right here. Because this device here, it only requires a code for in-circuit programming. So with the in-circuit programming, if you don't have the code, it just errors out. But this one here, it says that it can be read in parallel mode without a code if it's not read protected. So I was going to do buy a socket and everything, but I was just like, you know what? That's just too expensive for a one-off. You know, if it would be nice if Hakko would just provide the firmware, I would just, load it up. But yeah, they won't do that. So just to show you this, powers up. It'll beep. Okay, so that's fully functional. So basically I'm gonna have to remove that chip and give it a try. But I didn't want to spend $60, $70 on a socket. I didn't want to spend $150 on an adapter for a gamble if it's going to be protected or not. So we're going to open this up right here. I grabbed the dull scissors, didn't I? Yes, I did. These are my cardboard scissors. Okay. So, I did some circuit boards for the TQFP and the Mega Magic. There it is. So I'm going, in another video, I'll do it, to take that chip and solder it to that board and attempt a parallel read. So hopefully we can get the firmware or get the code, because if I can download it in parallel mode or back it up in parallel mode, I can go into the hex file and get the code. Then I've got a friend that's local with an FM203 that's got the current firmware, and I'll have the code to be able to plug in right there, use either of these programmers, and download the current firmware and update my own unit. That's the plan. But I have a feeling that chip is also going to have protection locked. So we will see. So I try to do my videos here in one take, but I will link the Better Business Bureau replies from Hakko and my responses in the description. They should not be claiming an industrial exemption, because that's what's known as the farm equipment exemption. That's what they were doing when they were writing the law. So Cottie's going to give you her butt. We're going to give a little bit of cookies. And I'm going to call this video done. There we go. She's going to get electrocuted one day. But, yeah. Screw you, Hakko. We're going to get this firmware. I'm going to back it up one way or the other. So, like, subscribe, and get notified, because when I get that MCU off and get that board built and attempt to read, I'll be sure to make a video on it. Catch y'all later.